These are Russian blue mixed with calico, I believe. One more time. Yeah, kinda, maybe a little bit.
I did.
So much harder than they know. Welcome to Aviation Uploaded. I'm Nezra. First, we're going to have the quickies. Mercedes-Benz has developed flying drones, and they've surpassed 100 flight hours. This is one of their flying drones above one of their driving drones. And I'm assuming they're going to do this for dropping off packages and stuff like that, utilitarian type thing. But they're going to start shipping that if you're interested in a Mercedes drone. The students at M.I.T. had developed a rocket-propelled drone. It's capable of Mach 0.8. That's still subsonic, but still hauling. This is the Textron OAX, or military's light attack aircraft. That's supposed to save a lot of money. Instead of sending a jet, you would send this plane. There's 3 in the competition. Pictured here is the Textron Scorpion. Speaking of drones, the FAA has released a statement. Drone collisions with aircraft will cause more impact damage than a bird strike of equivalent size and speed, concludes a study for the FAA. This was in the Weekly of Business Aviation. I think we all assumed this, that if my drone slams into a passenger airliner, that I'm probably going to be in trouble. Funny I would mention that a Boeing 777 and an Airbus A333 have touched wingtips at John F. Kennedy Airport, and the FAA is going to be following up with this one. The Airbus had to be towed back, so it wasn't pretty. Speaking of Textron again, we have a new Cessna. The Cessna 408 was released today, and this is a Grand Cavern, Cessna Grand Cavern pictured, but it's going to look similar to this, turboprop, stuff like that. Okay, that's all for the quickies, I think. The Lockheed Martin laser cannon, and that's it. Okay, moving on. Something dear to my heart, aircraft crashes. I've lost 2 friends in the past 3 years. One named David Beanie, who was a friend of the family, and an old flight instructor of mine named John Brown, who owned a flight school in Tahoe, Nevada. His plane went down in sparks. The FAA said that aircraft crashes are down by 35%, but flight hours are up. Now that's a good sign. That's what we want to hear. We want to hear more of that. And to continue with this story, I have the Roy Halladay crash. Now he was killed in the Icon A5. He was a major league pitcher, and this is one of these revolutionary type airplanes. I believe that you do not have to have a pilot's license to fly one of these. Here's the Icon A5. This is a photo from Icon, the company. Now, 3 of these have gone down in this past year. The first one, I believe, was a hard impact with water, and it broke up. I think very small injuries. Second crash was a controlled flight into terrain, or a CFIT, and he had control of the airplane and flew into terrain. We cannot blame the airframe for that. Third, we have Roy Halladay, and he was a low-time pilot. He had only 14 hours in this aircraft here. He was hot dogging 11-foot passes at full power over the water, and 75 feet from people's homes. And so, like I mentioned, it's the third crash for Icon this year. Icon is selling these things like cars. It's kind of a scary way to sell airplanes. I don't know if I agree with it, but I had to show you guys the cockpit setup of this airplane. Now, it looks almost identical to a car. You got your gauges up here. Here's a close-up of the gauges. Airspeed looks like on the left, and altitude on the right, as if it were an RPM or a miles per hour gauge. This is definitely not a car. With a controlled flight into terrain, both of these pilots sound like they were hot dogging it to me. I was concerned in buying one of these aircraft, but with three crashes, 2 fatal, it's just bad luck. I want to say it's bad luck for Icon, but I think I'm going to wait before making my decision on the Icon A5. Also in the news, we have the GE 9X gas turbine engine from GE. This is an add-on to the 9 series. This is the largest jet engine ever created. All kinds of carbon technologies used on this engine that are not found on anything else. This is a pretty nice GIF of the engine here. I got a zoom up of it. This bigger picture here. These are carbon fan blades, 4th generation, I believe. 11-stage compressor. Hold on, I have the specs here. Well, I thought I did. But the new phase of the company's operation is to mount this onto a flying test bed, the company's 747, and that's been done. So the next thing to do is start flight tests by the end of this year. This engine is supposed to go into, like, I'm assuming it's in production, but it's going to go on to the first 777s in 2018. Like I said, the biggest engine ever made. We have to give some kind of credence and some kind of recognition to GE for this. Thank you. Okay, well, that's pretty much all of today's Aviation Uploaded. Stay tuned for the newest and quickest aviation news, and I'm your host. That's right.